One officer had returned to the squad car. Tires squealed. They weren't giving up. Roman spotted an open window a couple of buildings over and decided to climb up rather than down. A car door slammed. A man shouted. Must be a slow night if these two cops wanted to spend this much time hunting a graffiti artist. Roman swung over the edge of another roof. A half-empty can of spray paint fell out of his jostled pack and exploded on the pavement below. The startled officer drew his gun and pointed it at Roman as he climbed. "LAPD! Stop where you are!" Gripping a ledge, Roman pulled himself up and went in through the open apartment window. He held his breath. A man snored in the bedroom. Roman crept forward. He hadn't gone 2 steps before bumping into something. His eyes adjusted to the dim light from the kitchen appliances. The occupant must be a hoarder. The cluttered living room could be Roman's undoing. He left his backpack behind the sofa. Opening the front door quietly, he peered out and listened. No movement, no voices. The man in the bedroom snorted and stirred. Roman slipped out quickly and closed the door behind him. The emergency exit door was stuck. If he forced it, he'd make noise. He found the elevator, his heart pounding faster as it took its sweet time rising. Bing! The doors opened. Roman stepped inside and punched the button for the underground parking garage. Just stay cool. He shoved the hood back and raked his hands through his hair. He took a deep breath and let it out slowly. The elevator doors opened. The basement parking lot was well lit. Roman held the door open and waited a few seconds to scope the area before he stepped out. All clear. Relieved, he headed for the ramp leading up to the side street. The police car sat at the curb. Doors opened, and both officers emerged. For a split second, Roman debated inventing a quick story for why he'd be heading out for a walk at 3:30 in the morning. But somehow he knew no story was going to keep him out of cuffs. He bolted up the street toward a residential neighborhood, a block off the main boulevard. The officers followed like hounds after a fox. Roman went down one street, along a paved driveway, and over a wall. He thought he was home free, until he realized he wasn't alone in the backyard. A German shepherd leaped to its feet and gave chase. Roman raced across the yard and over the back fence. The dog hit the fence and clawed at it, barking fiercely. Roman landed hard on the other side and knocked over a couple of garbage cans in his haste to get away. Now every other canine up and down the street was sounding the alarm. Roman moved fast, keeping low and in the shadows. Lights went on. He could hear voices. Inquiries would slow down the cops, and they'd be less likely to go over fences and trespass. Roman moved fast for a few blocks and then slowed to a normal gait to catch his breath. The dogs had stopped barking. He heard a car and slipped behind a privet hedge. The police car crossed the next street, not slowing as it headed back toward Santa Monica Boulevard. Maybe he'd lost them. Rather than push his luck any further, Roman waited another few minutes before venturing out to the sidewalk. It took him an hour to make his way back to his BMW. Sliding into the driver's seat, he couldn't resist driving east to check out his work. The bank would have its front door cleaned by noon, but the high piece, on the wall across the street, would last longer. The bird had gained enough notoriety over the past few years that some building owners left the graffiti untouched. He hoped that would be the case with this one. He'd come too close to getting caught to have the work buffed and forgotten in a day or two. Freeway traffic had already picked up. Fighting exhaustion, Roman turned on the air conditioning. Cold air blasted him, keeping him wide awake as he drove up into Topanga Canyon, feeling drained and vaguely depressed. He should be reveling after his successful night raid, not feeling like an old man in need of a recliner. He slowed and turned onto the gravel drive down to his house. The push of a button opened the garage door. 3 more cars, bigger than his 740 Li, could fit in the space. He shut off the engine and sat for a few seconds as the door whirred closed behind him.